up with this part. Ready or not, here we go. Yes, it. I think I know this part. Come on. One nation under a roof. Get down just for the funk of it. One nation and we're on the move. Stop us now. Yeah. Come on.
Dr. Westbrook, take two. Beyond the getting radio airplay, what else was your crew doing to make sure that these records would get the visibility that they needed to become hits?
Well, the radio airplay was only one aspect of it. In every major city throughout the United States, they had black newspapers. They also had little black local neighborhood newspapers. So what I did, I had my local promotion managers to approach those black newspapers, the major black newspapers as well as the neighborhood newspapers, and to actually buy ads in those newspapers and advertise the black artists that we were working. I also had them to secure writers from those newspapers to write stories on those black artists. And I also solicited the top disc jockeys in each town to cut radio spots on those artists. So consequently, everybody was aboard. Not only that, let's take Chicago for instance. If there is a black artist or any artist that's on the CBS label that's appearing anywhere in the Midwestern area, I would set it up so those disc jockeys and their wives could attend those concerts. Everybody, I wanted them to buy in.
She's not just a plaything, she's flesh and blood, just like a man. And if you wanna do right, always woman, you've got to be a do-right, all night man.
So consequently, CBS product, they looked upon it very, very favorably. And also, when those artists came to town, if those putting on a concert, I made sure that the local disc jockeys became the MCs of those shows. So everybody bought into it.
Did other companies start to see the success that CBS was having and try to emulate what you guys were doing?
After a while, they did. As a matter of fact, at the very beginning, through Clive Davis and a guy named Larry Isaacson, who was a graduate of Harvard B School, and we decided to do a project. It was called the Harvard Report.
What kind of market research did you have available in those days to help guide the decisions that you had to make?
Well, at that particular time, there was nothing written about it. Now, I came to CBS with many years of experience. See, I had worked in the street as a salesman. I was the first black salesman at their Capitol Records there in Chicago. So I was called a territory salesman, I actually called on retail outlets. And from there, I moved over into the promotion department. Now I'm working directly with radio stations. I was a regional promotion manager. So I was based in Chicago, but I was responsible for the entire Midwest. So I was traveling on a regular basis. So I knew radio, and I knew what people were reacting to. I also knew the local markets. Now we knew what to do, but the idea, can we document it? And that's one of the reasons for getting that Harvard study done, was to document it. And here, years later, I have written a book on the Harvard Report that's out there available right now for those that would be interested in finding out what that's all about. But the idea was to document it, and that's exactly what we did.
So what did that report say? What kind of data did it?
Well, the report stated that the black music business, there is a viable market out there for it. The key is exposure. So that's what we were doing. That's one of the things that Harvard Report showed us. You got to get it exposed. And interestingly, that led into another thing. You're talking about exposure. Now, on a black record, you can only sell so many records because you can only expose it to just a certain number of people. Now, At that particular time, there was the black radio station, which was called the R&B station, or the white radio station, which was called the Top 40 station. And they didn't cross those lines. You played black records on black radio stations. You played white records on white radio stations. White records meaning those white artists. Now, on a radio dial, a black station in every market throughout the entire country at that particular time was on the right-hand side of the dial, which is the weakest signal. So consequently, you can only reach so many people. Whereas the Top 40 station was located in the middle of the dial, which is the strongest signal. So the idea is, how can I cross this record over to pick up that Top 40 play? That was the challenge. I would say that was one of my biggest challenges. Now, I went to the Top 40 of the pop staff at CBS, and I want to cross these records over. So we're selling 1 million, maybe we can sell 5 million if we cross it over. And they told me, Logan, give me a top 5 records on R&B chart and Billboard, and we'll cross it over. I gave it to them. I gave them a #1 record on the R&B charts, but they never could cross it over. And what happened, I had a local promotion manager. His name was Bill Craig. He was a local promotion manager for Detroit. He was a good friend of a female program director at a Top 40 station in Canada, which is just across the river. He persuaded his friend to program that record. She programmed it. It went to #1. And then their sister station in Chicago picked up on it. And then the rest was history. They crossed it over throughout the entire country. So that was our means for crossing records over. Now, mind you, now this record is being played on Top 40 stations now, as well as R&B stations. It's guaranteed to go gold. Gold meaning when you sell 500,000 units, 500,000 units for an album is gold. 1 million units is gold for a single or 45. Of course, I'm talking old school now, because it's completely different here now.
So one nation under a roof, yeah. Get down.